Well, here we are. Cassie Ventura has taken the stand. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, Carcino was ready for this. Get ready. Let me clear my throat. We are ready. Let me clear my throat. I'm mad. I want revenge. Now, yesterday, we heard about the biggest thing yesterday that the sex worker said was that Cassie said to pee on him. She asked to be peed on. So Cassie being peed on, peed in her mouth, all kind of stuff. Golden showers happen in Hollywood. Hello, it happens. Nasty. You seen R. Kelly do it, and everybody thought that was weird in '94. They've been doing golden showers, all kind of stuff. These women would do anything for these celebrities. But how is this a RICO? Cassie the urinal. Well, look. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right. We report the real facts. Let's bring up something real that they didn't file. The federal government released something on April the 15th. Okay? That they filed under a sealed document. You're going to see that document today. Right now. That's what I'm going to provide for you. Here's the sealed document that's being provided to you. It says, Honorable Aram Subramanian, Dear Judge Subramanian, the government is in receipt of the defendant's April 15, 2025 request for a Rule 17 subpoena for materials from Victim 4 and respectfully request to respond by Friday, April 18, 2025. In making this request, the government notes that the proposed subpoena is inconsistent with the guidance provided by the court at the April 14, 2025 conference in this matter. At this conference, the court advised that the defensive counsel that a broad request for materials for Victim 4 would be present, issues that the counsel should therefore be a rifle shot about, what you are asking for, the point to the specific items, the relevance that you believe exists or might not have been turned over, are not in Combs' possession, and confer with the government to see if that they can assist in any way in getting you access to those materials. Despite clear guidance, the defendant made no attempt to confer with the government, instead submitting a broad request that on its face, it is exactly the kind of general fishing expedition prohibited by Rule 17. Rule 17 subpoena because among other reasons, the defendant was engaging in a fishing expedition. As a result, the government respectfully seeks an opportunity to respond prior to your assurance of any subpoena. So what they're saying is, we want people to have a protected identity. We want to protect what they're going to say. You can't defend it because we're not going to give your defense any time to defend it. We just want to release stuff at the last second. Like, there you go. Now deal with it. It's like, well, we haven't even, let us review this stuff. If this is such an open shut case, why are y'all hiding and concealing evidence for as long as you can before you turn it over to the defense? Why you don't want the defense to see what's going on? Why you don't want them to know who's doing it? How can you defend yourself against somebody you don't know? Who is doing it? I can't tell you because I don't know who it is. I can assume. I got cut off. I'm still alive. Now, what I don't see that's here is why they keep cutting and dropping people off the live stream. Will you guys cut off the live stream? All right. Well, here we go. While they playing dirty games, here we go. Now, that document that was presented in court was done so because they filed that under lock and key. Now, the prosecution kept this under lock and key until today, midnight, actually. Okay, midnight. Thanks. If Diddy was shot instead of Biggie, do a follow-up or a recap of it. Yeah, we might get into that after the trial. Thanks for the super chat, though. Appreciate you, King Team. Now, let's look at this. The government writes in response to the court's 2025 order seeking additional information regarding the risk of harm to victim 4, were she to testify under her own name. Those harms, which are detailed in declaration from her counsel attached hereto as Exhibit A, are numerous and more sufficient to warrant you a subpoena name. Look, she wants to basically testify blindly to the risk of harm to her, including psychologically, emotional, and professional harms of publicly taking on a person like Diddy. talking about this subject that they blurred out for us more than justify justify the use of this, right? Now, if you want to talk about emotional and psychedelic, now they just released this at midnight, saying that it's quite reasonable to think that harassment will increase exponentially if she testifies under her true name, especially with the press coverage this case have garnered. Thanks to you, nature of the conduct that the witness will be testifying about, the court has determined that the witness's fear of harassment and reprisals by the media and others is legitimate. The court should therefore allow victim 4 to testify without saying her name. The defendant cites no case in this circuit denying this for victim witnesses, right? Does not, as the defendant suggests, serves as a waiver of her application for this or her rights as a victim to be protected and treated with fairness and under the crime's victim rights. Victim 4 has never publicly spoken about the sensitive topics that she will cover in her testimony. Indeed, before her. So this was just released at midnight. And it was from April 22, 2025. They had a sealed document that they released at midnight. I'm just waiting to hear all the evidence, and then I will proceed as following, due to that fact, because of the simple reasons that they put in place don't make any sense. If it's psychological and emotional that she's going to be dealing with, wouldn't she be dealing with the psychological and emotionness of it now? So she doesn't care as long as she could be blind and don't have to say who she is and blindly accuse somebody. And they don't have the right to defend themselves. Now, yes, while they continue to do a hatchet job of my channel when it comes to talking about the Diddy situation, whenever Diddy's name is mentioned, they come in with a hatchet to block anything that I say. Yes, very much so. Very telling about what happened. So this is what was going on before they decided to go into the trial. Oh, it was quite persistent with the male dancer up there. Now, everything I'm hearing sounds like a orgy that they had that went into we want to go get some money. Everybody here is compromised. All these people that participated compromised. The security guard was compromised when he took videos to go show his wife. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, what it sounds like is a consensual affair. And when you look at this case, what you're hearing, yeah, when she was dating, she dated Ryan Leslie, then she dated Dallas Austin, and then she dated with Diddy. She was doing all this stuff. Cassie is not what people think, and she's being painted as this girl in a white dress that they took advantage of. It's ridiculous. Now, mhm. Mm. No, the sex worker was sent the text to Diddy talking about, man, he was like, I'm on the Upper West Side. Mm-hmm. 10 West East End Avenue. Hit me when you're there. He was like, yes. Do you see your text when you said, I don't give a F. I'm a little tipsy. I love y'all niggas. He was like, yes. Right. It went straight to that. That guy was, yeah, he was out of his mind. So the sex worker proved to be unreliable. So now we bring the argument to Cassie Ventura. Cassie Ventura is supposed to be the one to shut the door on this whole thing, right? So Cassie Ventura comes along and says, this is what I want done. You see, this is what I want done. So Cassie Ventura comes in. She comes in talking about how I was hit in the face. Did he having mood swings? So Jane Doe, don't have to give her name. By May 20th, they came in and ruled on that. So now an arraignment of contraband in the courtroom case. The AUSA wants a protective order for the video taken inside the courthouse that the defendant is not in detention, but two U.S. Marshals are in the courtroom to take them out. That's a whole nother story that happened. Oh, they wanted to keep it real light with Cassie. Mm-hmm. Well, Cassie knew that she had a system in place. He needs to sue Teaser Tails. Well, I think Teaser Tails is already going to be embroiled in a lawsuit for her recklessness, but she might already be in the middle of it. Like I said, I haven't seen the paperwork, but I know Diddy is suing that documentary, and she's in the documentary. So, however that goes. First of all, you guys are judging this off of the behavior. Okay, we're here to determine two cases. Y'all are looking at it from a moral standpoint and how it fits in your life. You're looking at his sex life and him hitting people, which he hasn't denied at all. Like, yeah, I go upside the head of somebody. That's domestic. And I keep trying to tell y'all that is two different situations. Okay, it's two different situations. You can't sit there and say, oh, he put his hands on her, so he's supposed to go to jail. That's a whole different case. This is a federal case. You don't go, domestic case is not federal. He forced her to do it. Well, that's why we're having the trial. That's why we're having the trial. So all the stuff they saying is that's going on here has definitely been against his constitutional rights. They've been trying to use and abuse the Constitution to not give this man a fair trial. All these people accusing him never came after this man criminally before at all. They're the person that's taking the stand who want their name to be a Jane Doe. She never came after him criminally for anything. So none of these people came after him criminally until the feds did it. And then they still just they want to testify. All of these people wanted money. Mm-hmm. The Abercrombie and Fitch guy gets no press. And he trying to get the case dismissed quietly. And he at home with bail, and he's facing way more cases than Diddy. He's got co-conspirators. Diddy don't have any. I found it alarming. Mm-hmm. Because people don't realize what they're actually doing and what they're actually engaging in. From the time she sat down, she sounded like a liar. They threw her a softball question after softball question. Cassie came in and they say, oh no. Mm-hmm. They looked at the videos that they had. Yeah, they asked the sex worker, did he date a model named Malia? And he said, "Oh, I didn't say I dated her. We were friends. You were with her and saw Cassie with someone else, not Mr. Combs, right?" Yes. You told Malia you saw Cassie socially. Yes. You thought Cassie wanted to see you one on one. Nothing to do with Sean Combs, right? I don't see what you mean. In front of the Dream Hotel, that's what you thought, right? No. So now he's caught up because Cassie was with a whole nother guy and wanted to get down with the sex worker again. See, they catching Cassie up in all her, she finna expose herself. So they say the USAA was like, how do you feel when he first asked for it? Cassie, confused, nervous. I wanted to make him happy. Did you agree to one when he first proposed one? Yes. Then there were more. It was something I wanted to do, at least not that frequent. It wasn't something I wanted to do, at least not that frequently. So she said, let me show you a video. And the LA hotel elevator lobby is shown. Where is this? The International Continental in Los Angeles. It was after a freak off. What does that entail? The hiring of an escort, setting it up. So they got Cassie to come in and admit to the lie that was coming out after a freak off, and said the freak off became a job. There was no time to do anything else but do them, then try to recover. How much time in the week would you freak offs take? The longest was 4 days, significant periods of time. Oh my gosh, this is just ridiculous. How frequent did the freak offs become, Miss Ventura? Cassie, weekly for a considerable amount of years. When was your last one? 2017, 2018. How long were you awake during the freak offs? I never slept. I took drugs, ecstasy, Molly, cocaine. How did you feel, Cassie? Oh, it was like talking to a baby. I was high, so I didn't feel much. Dirty and confusion, and that he was happy with me. Why did you feel you couldn't say no? I didn't want to make him angry or upset. He shared this part of himself with me. Why not a cop, Cassie? This is what the government is saying. I learned this whole situation was not legal. Defense was objection. Jury will discard that last answer. Yeah, that was crazy. How did Cash get here? Security, or he brought it himself? Did you ever use an escort who arrived? One couldn't perform, so Sean sent him on. What was a safe escort? Not a cop, and someone who'd not run and tell everybody about their experience with us. I'm telling you, this is what's going on. Mm-hmm. Well, you're looking at a lot of things that's going on, and people are saying that when you look at this situation, you're looking at they had no idea Cassie was as freaky as Diddy. That's what I'm trying to tell you, and I've been saying it the whole time. Been telling you the whole time. He beats women, so why defend this guy? He puts his hands on women. That part we are not cool with. We're not cool with somebody that. This is a criminal Fed case, Jamil. We're not defending him for putting his hands on Cassie. We're talking about the charges at hand. They're fraudulent. I'm not gonna say somebody's guilty because I don't like them. It's got to be the evidence to go with it, Jamil. She put her hands on him too. So what? We supposed to throw her in jail too? We should lock her up too. Now, if you look at the case and the situation, you can see this is not adding up. It's clearly not adding up. It's turning into one big gigantic circus. They asked her softball question after softball question. But when the defense get to her ass, oh, that's when you finna see something special. Because everybody wants her to be a victim. And the whole media has played it as if Sean Diddy Combs was completely somebody that they couldn't put in a situation, couldn't do anything other than. So right now, the government is asking her everything up the pipe. Every softball statement the world could ever imagine. There was just no time to do anything else. She has been coerced to answer these questions this way. The government is leading her to answer the way that they practice this whole routine. They're throwing a softball and she's swinging. Throwing a softball, they're swinging. All of these are lies. Hmm. They don't want you to know all that stuff. Right. The judge was saying, like, if we look at the photos, that those photos tell us one thing. Right. The photos tell us one thing. This is adult, all right, adult, messing around and all that stuff. Yeah, right, this adult stuff. Right. They asked that sex worker. No, they asked the sex worker that. They said, you said Mr. Combs was directing, but can you recall meeting the prosecutors on March 28, 2025 and telling them you didn't recall Mr. Combs giving you directions about positions? He's like, yes. So he didn't direct you. Incorrect. Donaldson, you thought you were in a relationship with Cassie, didn't you? No. You wanted to get her alone to date her. If she let me, I would have. Dumb. The male sex worker is the male sex worker is out of control. They say you would get jealous of Mr. Combs, right? Oh no. The male sex worker was setting himself up. They said, dude, you just said that was the most telling thing of all. They was like, Mr. Combs was directing you, right? But do you recall meeting the prosecutors on March 28th and telling them you didn't recall Mr. Combs giving you directions about position? Yes. Okay, so he didn't direct you. Incorrect. How is that incorrect? You just said no. Diddy said you thought you was in a relationship with Cassie, didn't you? No. You wanted to get her alone to date her. If she let me, I would have. This male sex worker has proved himself to be very unreliable. So when they asked her, when did you sign the Bad Boy Records, Cassie? It was a 10-album deal. That's typical. Did you release any after 2006? No. Who was in this photo? Kim Porter. She was Sean's ex from before, me and the mother of his children. They was like, I've handed up GXB. Do you recognize it? Yes. I reviewed this drive. It was a communication and documents pertaining to Mr. Combs. Did you review the photos of it? Yes. What's the photos? Me in 2004 with Carrie Morgan. And I'm like, oh my God, this woman. They was take your time, Mrs. Ventura. How much of time in your week would you take the freak offs take? The longest is 4 days, significant period of time. No, I'm not that other guy. I'm not going to be up here yelling for and acting all emotional about something that has nothing to do with me. No, that's that other guy. He does that. Start screaming at the screen like he's on trial or something. That's that other guy. If you just say anything that makes a little bit of sense, like, well, don't you think that would make sense? Don't try to come up for this man. I'm defending all women. That man's a monster. You know, grandstanding. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for grandstanding. I just get to the facts. I leave that other person to his own psychosis. Uh, then they had an email, right? And they said, this is an email between me and Sean. And they said, well, what do you call him? She calls him Pop Pop. I said, why? He asked me what I call my grandfather, but I didn't know. He said, but so she said, I did it, but now I think it was disrespectful. She treated him just like daddy. Oh, yeah. Because that's how she wanted to move. She's still on the stand right now as we speak. They said, did you use drugs at every freak off? Yes, I used to disassociate it and become emotionalist. Who else used drugs at freak offs? Sean did. Sometimes the escorts. What other drugs did you use? Special K, GHB, and mushrooms. Do you recognize Jules? Yes, it was the cities that you would have freak offs with Jules. In what cities would you have freak offs with Jules? New York, LA, Vegas. Do you know his last name? No. Who's this? I knew him as the Punisher. So security brought in himself, the escort Dave. Do you know his real name? Clayton Howard. Who is this? Daniel. What service did he use? A dance service. So, as you can see, Cassie's testimony so far is coming off as remedial as possible. I just want the defense to grab her ass so goddamn quick because she is not going to get this softball shit off. The Punisher is crazy. Exactly. I just know him as the Punisher. Now, I'm glad she's doing all of this because what this is showing you is that she has full recollection of sex workers, right? So if she has full recollection of sex workers, how the hell were you taking those drugs that make you forget? Those must be some stale ass drugs. So the government is telling you what drugs to say because these are the drugs we found, right? Tell them, GHB is the drug. So let's get GHB. But if you're taking all of these drugs, how the hell you remember everybody's names? And you remember all these events. Damn sure not the side effects of GHB. Right. She'll never forget the Punisher. So she's going down, they're showing her pictures, and she's just running off names. But isn't it strange to you that everything that I said, the defense brought up in arguments, in the opening statements, everything that I seem to be bringing up that didn't make sense, I've said, and one other person that I know has said it, and that's right here, McCann Cornell. He said the exact same things. Why Teaser Tails isn't saying this? Why these other guys are not saying this? You know why they're not saying it? Because it would affect their views. It would affect their traffic. Because see, once you go against the status quo and what the agenda is, which is to tear down Sean Puffy Combs, if you ain't in that agenda group, they tear you down. Remember when they thought that's what I was doing, they were supporting the hell out of me. They thought I was jumping down Diddy's back. And then we're looking at what all they got as the evidence as it's going along, because we're following the evidence, not the hoopla. All of a sudden, we got all these problems. Every time I say something about Diddy, no traffic, nothing. So it's telling me that the people that's guys playing this agenda role only wants to promote those people who are talking about Diddy. And other people decided to, transform their entire sports channel into a entire, law and crime. And they became the Diddy expert guy, I've met Diddy about 2 or 3 times, like seen him. I don't really go around him, but met Diddy 2 or 3 times. I told you about the first time I really saw him, how he was freaking out. This was long before the trial thing kicked off. So for a person like myself who's actually been around these people, who've actually been around these situations where there were opportunities for free calls, where people did creep off and do things, knowing how these things are set up and structured, knowing that these people all collaborate to do these acts and how they do it. It's not like they announce, hey, y'all, guess what? We're about to go do this. Yeah. This stuff is done in silent and in private when with people who do this for a living, and most of them don't have our complexion. There's plenty of them that's been doing this, and they've been groomed to do this. But because of their position in power, nobody coming after them. Nobody gonna say, why you dating that 17, 18-year-old girl to them? Nobody gonna question them. The media ain't gonna attack them. TMZ ain't gonna come up to them. Nobody gonna ask Harvey Levin, aren't you when you with a dude? And wasn't you involved in some activity that was a little weird? Is TMZ gonna be on TMZ? No. Remember when I exposed all these people in entertainment are with the Skittles crew? They're not gonna do that. They're gonna come with the blatant sabotage, because see, that's what their game is. That's how they move, that's how they operate. So now that they're part of the Skittles crew, this is what they do. And majority of these people are locked in on what they say they know, what they think they know. So the whole world pivots around all of the words that they try to provide to the general public. They ain't gonna tell you about Rob Lowe and what he went through when he was younger. Brad Pitt don't open up, tell you what happened to him. See, if you've never been in these circles, bro, you don't, but trust me, you don't understand. More people know, and this stuff is way bigger than some Diddy and Cassie. Nobody cares about Cassie. They're trying to act like they care about her. Cassie was a freak. She liked to get down just like all the other girls that got down. I'm just trying to see how can a man, and this was kills me, all the news. Diddy had all the power. She had no power. You keep telling women they got power, right? But now you're going to tell a woman that the man got the power. So Diddy got the power when it fits you. And Cassie don't have any power. Why she don't have any power? Somebody's physically controlling her. That's why she didn't have any power. He forced her to do these things. She didn't want to do them. When she never said no. If you ask somebody something and they say, yeah, I'll do it, and they were down with it, and the fact that when she wasn't with Diddy, she was trying to get her own and set up her own freak offs. So are they going to go after Drake next? No, they're not. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Like they said, what did you write? And she said, what did you write to in his email? Like they went to, yeah, that's when they went to the email thing. And she was going down that whole communication path. She was like, what did you write? And she was like, I really need to uck. Why did you write that, Cassie? Because I wanted to be with him. And she said, I'll read your messages. You, she said, I'll read your messages. You read yours. And she was trying to say, so the government is reading Diddy's text message as Diddy. You don't want to do anymore? And she says, I'm so predictable. What did that mean? She said, what do you think this meant? That I knew I didn't want to do a freak off anymore, but then I was backpedaled. Why? To not make him angry. He could be violent. Where you get your outfit from? Pleasure trash, chess, elsewhere. So they go through that scene. Now, after they go through that scene, she starts talking about going through these emails. When should I take the thing? Will you be there? That's what Cassidy was talking about. He said, pausing, you're there. What did you mean? And she said, when should I take the thing? When will you be there? She was like, drugs. And Diddy was like, I took mine, I'm flying. He said, what does that mean, Miss Ventura? It means he's high. I mean, it's basically conversation that two adult people who have that pop pills and take drugs in their own relationship. I'm just waiting to listen to see if I hear a crime. I'm waiting to hear a crime. I'm not hearing a crime here. What I'm hearing is that these two had a casual relationship. So what's the problem? Yes, hit the like button up too, people. I forgot to tell you. Definitely do that. That's because most people are looking at it from his behavior. You can't you can't say or speculate this is why every time she says she gets caught and put in a corner of, well, why you didn't do this, Cassie? He might be violent. He could be violent. I wanted to make him happy. I want to be a docile woman. Well, okay. You want to play that role in the relationship and saying this is why I did it, because he could be violent. And that they got her on record saying that she was leaving a freak off when that happened in the hotel. They were fighting because she was trying to leave a freak off. And that tape in New York is which basically is what's going to ground this thing to New York, is this situation here based on this whole case. This is why all these people are so messed up, is because it's believe all women, even when they're lying. And that's a problem to me, because that woman just lied right there when she said she was leaving a freak off from that hotel. Harris, 2820. I'm not defending Diddy the person. I'm defending him against the charges against him. I don't believe the charges that they're filing against him based on the evidence that they have provided, which is none, that indicated there is a RICO, there is trafficking, there isn't any of it. Harris, 2820. You're saying all of the people he hurt is black, right? What does that mean? What do you mean hurt? I don't understand. Cassie Ventura isn't even black. So that's another step right there. But what are you talking about? We all know that to be true. Know what to be true. The evidence is not he ruined the careers and lives of black people. What are you talking about? We're talking about the trial. See, that's the problem. That all the bad boy artists. Wow, he told who? How? Diddy is not their father. How he ruined their careers? I don't understand. Black Rob did drugs, broke into houses. That was his choice. What's his name? Admitted to doing a robbery, a murder, and turned himself in like 15 years later. Why he had a record deal and nobody was coming for him for the murder. His guilt made him turn himself in. G Dep. And this is not the trial of bad boy records. That's what I'm saying. This is what's wrong with people now. They can't focus on what's actually in front of them. And this is how people end up getting time and getting life behind prison, because you put these people in jail, or you put them on trial and people start trying them off of what they think. And I don't like the way he did Shine. I mean, dog, Shine, this is not the trial of Shine Poe. another person who did things on his own. I'm looking at the evidence and it's weak. There's nothing here. So it's still going on, but so far I'm waiting to see when is this going to connect to a RICO, a one-man RICO. Right. Because remember, he's innocent to proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. They have to prove he's guilty of these crimes. Yeah. Where are the co-conspirators? Hmm? Where's the trafficking? Because they was in Las Vegas, went cross state lines. That's trafficking. They went there just for this purpose. So if I take a chick out on a date and we gonna fly to a hotel to go do that, I'm trafficking her. Nobody's asking these questions. That's the problem I have when nobody's keeping it 1,000. I have a problem with that because now you're doing it on one side because it promotes your agenda. And I don't like agendas. Don't like them. And anybody who follow those agendas, that tells me a lot about you. He said, me and my wife were just asking, where's the trafficking at? Exactly. Where is that at? Where are the co-conspirators if it's a RICO? She got up on that stand and told some of the most conflicting testimony I've ever heard from softball questions. She don't even know where she just opened up herself at. I can't wait till the defense get her. Mm-hmm. They're just softballing it, asking us stupid stuff. Why did you take more drugs? To not be present with the experience. Why? Because it was something I hated. Why did you react to ecstasy and MDMA? It could make me vomit. He said, what would he say to continue on? Why did you want to continue to have intercourse when you wanted to vomit? He said, did you want to continue to have intercourse when you wanted to vomit? No. How does GHB make you feel? Drunk, tipsy, cocaine, makes my heart race. I'm not a huge fan. Mushrooms, the walls come alive. Oh my God. Cassie took drugs. She liked taking drugs. And I want the defense to ask her, have you ever taken drugs without the presence of Sean Combs? Um, did you ever take drugs before you met Sean Combs? When you were having these other affairs with other men while you were still in a relationship with Mr. Combs, were you not doing free calls and taking drugs as well? So if you were so afraid that Mr. Combs would be violent towards you, why did you continuously do these acts of going out and sleeping with other men, Mrs. Ventura? This didn't happen in the trial yet. I'm just saying, if I'm the defense, this is what I'm leading off with. I'm leading off with a bat. I'm going for the home run ball. Yes, the industry is evil. And believe me, you don't even know, Mr. Skimmett. If you were on my Patreon, you would know. This is not even the industry. Diddy is not the industry. He would, if he was the industry, he wouldn't even be in trial. Think the feds would have him on trial? No, he's not the industry. The industry is people you will never see. They run the show. It's funny how everybody knew Ayanna Jackson was lying on Tupac, but she was Tupac was the only one on trial. Everybody else who did these acts, it was supposed to be everybody ganged up on her and they all took turns holding her down, R-wording her. But Tupac was the only one on trial. And Jack case got removed from his. So of course he felt set up. Right. This trial is about Diddy and what he did. Diddy broke away from the Democrats. He broke away from the people who he helped make money and bring people to the lambs to the slaughter and decided he was going to make his own black independent party. They didn't like that. You were going to try to extort us to do something for the black community? Oh, that's not good. You didn't got too uppity. We got to break you in half. And we're going to humiliate you so that you would never do this again. And then nobody else would ever get the balls to try to do this again. What happened to Puffy's black political party? It disbanded. So nobody black gets this idea ever again who gets this close to us. Ellen DeGeneres, who I call Ellen Degenerate, all of her crimes, how abusive she was in her relationships, right? But because she's part of the rainbow community, it's forgiven. Unbelievable. The video of her being attacked just shows that it's a domestic situation. Ellen DeGenerate was so doggone weird, controlling, dominant, using her power over the person, that she turned a lesbian woman straight. Mm-hmm. Now, all of the people that was there, she lost her show based off of this. And because everybody knew Ellen, she was terrible. They normally would come after her. But I'm talking about for all the essays, all the female escorts, all of these things that have happened under her powerful reign of Do You Know Who I Am? How did Diddy get the number to this? You got to understand, there's this is a professional service where they have that these men come and do jobs and they work and do sex. D Rock was named in this trial. That was crazy. And Cassie said, "That's D Rock." He's like, "You know who that is? Oh, that's D Rock." D Rock. I'm like, "Oh man, she didn't name drop D Rock in this thing." Oh, they took a break. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said, and what hotels in New York did you have freak offs? She was like the Trump, the Gramercy. It was like the Intercontinental, 44th Street, yes. Elsewhere, the Medrian Oriental, the Fontaine Blue Owl, or the Blue. What names are used? Uh, Jackie Starr. I used Frank Black. They was like, what supplies are for the freak offs? Astroglide, baby oil, condoms, Astroglide. Oh, Jesus Christ. That sounds like something crazy. Astroglide. Who bought the supplies? Security, Shine assistant. Uh-oh, Gene Deal, you in trouble. I'm just messing with G. Gene Deal, they coming to get you. You gonna be, I never been around Cassie like that. I wasn't even there. Don't put that on me, Casino. I ain't never breathe no Astroglide. They was like, which brand of baby oil? Johnson's. Johnson's. Yeah! It's like, how was it used? Sean said, you need to be glistening. It was like, well, how did you make your money if your records weren't being released? I did hosting parties when Sean approved them. What commitments did Sean make about your physical appearance? That I look too Mexican with my hair like that. How did you like your nails? White, French tip, hair. It varied. I shaved my head in 2009. Your body. He told me to work out, prepare for the freak offs. Oh my God. How did you feel about his comments? It varies. He told you to work out to prepare for the freak offs. What is the age difference between you and Sean? 17 years. How did you feel when Sean invited you to hotels? Nervous, excitement. We're going to talk about music. and he introduced me to oral sex. I didn't understand it. Oh my God! Get this lying bitch off the stand! Get this lying woman off the stand! Oh my God! Can somebody say Ayanna Jackson 2.0? Let's get this in perspective. You sat there on a stand and actually saying that man, Sean Diddy Combs, introduced you to oral sex. You didn't understand it. I'm done. Throw the book up. Case dismissed. This is a hostile witness. I don't think anybody on both sides believe that bullshit. Man. That's crazy. I'm hoping they get to a crime soon. It's 2 days and hopefully we get to a crime. It's 2 days and so far we're taking a break. I'm like, okay, what's the crime? They took illegal drugs together. They had sex together. They had sex here. They had sex there. Where's the crime? Did you visit Sean in Miami? Yes. I went with Kerry Morgan and Dallas Austin. What did you and Sean do together? Sexual intercourse. He gave me blue dolphin ecstasy on a boat. Had you taken ecstasy unintentionally? What would make the government say it was unintentional when she said he gave me blue ecstasy on a boat? And they go right into that. Had you once taken ecstasy unintentionally before? Yes. Yeah, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, the government tried to overrule. The defense came right in. Tenny has been on her job so far because now they've been catching her up in her BS. Because Tenny had enough, and they came in and said because they had Phil in there talking about. Remember the sex worker was like how much he was getting paid, talking about $3,800 or more. They was like, how much was you paid to perform when you could, Philip? He was like 700 to 5 to 6 hundred of dollars. He said, and when you couldn't perform, they paid me nothing then. Did Mrs. Ventura call you after the Dream Hotel? Yes. Do you know who she was with? No. Did she answer your text messages? Never, almost. You said you wanted to hug her. Why? I could see she was afraid. What did you do? I could not engage. I was messed up. And they bust right in with all this. Tenny's like, He's like, Diddy suspected that she was cheating on him, right? At one point. She did not answer her phone. She had gotten into a bar fight and tried to kill someone. So it's relevant to his suspicions and her substance abuse outside of their sexual relationship. She was taking drugs with a close family member in another state. And the government tried to object to that. And they said, no, the judge said, no, this can be asked about. Now, prior constant statements, we're talking about a sequencing of issue, which are direct or can be done in rebuttal. It's like, right. So nobody ever talked about that. Cassie was in a bar fight. Oh, my goodness. Now, he's like, come on, Lee. Right, exactly. That oral question is crazy work. Once anybody with common sense hears somebody say something as stupid as that on a stand, I didn't understand it. He introduced me to oral sex. I didn't understand it. Right then and there, I've been like, all right, case over. Wrap this up. Yeah, she's done. This chick's a liar. I can't, no, she's a liar. I can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. Yeah, this chick's a liar. Nobody believes that. Anybody in the chat believe that Cassie was introduced to oral? Lee Moore is like, what oral questions? Exactly. Lee didn't get here and read that. But Cassie was asked, right? Anybody believe that the government asked her about a sexual encounter with Diddy at the hotel when she was like, I thought we were there to talk about my album and my work. And he introduced me to oral sex. I didn't understand it. First of all, why would you go meet Diddy in a hotel when you've been in his office plenty of times before, prior? I haven't heard y'all mention Ryan Leslie once, when Ryan Leslie was the one that brought you in. Why Ryan Leslie's name has not been mentioned in this trial? She's my diamond girl. When she said that line, I automatically, everybody in here knows she's full of it. She is full of it. Oh yeah, they were like, "Wouldn't each freak offs? Did you ever run out of baby oil?" Defense said, "Objection, Your Honor. This is irrelevant." She's like, "Oh, you also mentioned Astroglide." Defense, same objection, irrelevant. The judge said, "Sidebar, y'all come up here to the come up here to the desk. Are we talking about baby oil and Astroglide? Like what are we going with this? Like the defense is like, what are we doing? What are you doing?" Superstar J Quick, you right on point. Right on point. My thing is, give me something. Y'all want me to say Diddy is guilty? Show me something he's guilty of. That's a crime. Show me of these charges that you have filed against him. Show me that he's guilty of those crimes, and I'll be like, Diddy's guilty. But you have not provided any evidence that would definitely say he did this. And then you have very shady witnesses. You have nobody with all of these accusations. You would have a list of witnesses going around the corner that were credible. You got all these people who was there for money. Cassie sued for money. Money, money, money. No one went to the cops. Nobody did anything. This is a sex worker. He gets paid to have sex. Show me some evidence. I have seen nothing to indicate that this is a crime that they are charging him for. This is a domestic case, should not be in a federal court. It should be in a whole nother court for domestic relationship abuse, where they both are toxic to each other. Bail, he should have been at the crib. Right. So after the sidebar, they was like, we were just talking about Astroglide, how it was used. Ventura was like, it's a lubricant. If you ran out, what would happen? We'll call either staff or the bail desk, give them a tip. Where were the freak-offs lit? Initially, it was candle, strong smelling Glade. Y'all use some cheap ass Glade? It's like, what else did Sean pay for? Cars. Did he give you cash? Yes. But he would take things away depending on how he felt. What else would he take away? My self-confidence. Oh my God. I swear to God, this is on the stand. I'm reading verbatim what was said on the stand. What else would he take away? My self-confidence. Who would take things away? Staff. I assume the staff. Defense was objection. Jury will discard that last answer. Who took your laptop and phone? Security. How long would they be gone? However long I was being punished for. Yeah. I can't wait till the defense get her. I cannot wait till the defense get her. Oh, because when the defense get her, it's over. Once the defense get her, it's over. So they said, Cassie, you know, you can continue wherever you feel comfortable, Miss Cassie, because it's all about you, Cassie. We want to make sure Cassie here is very comfortable. Are you comfortable, Cassie? Because it's all about your comfort, Cassie. What's up, Patreons? I know y'all up in here too. They trying to sabotage the live stream right now. We ain't gonna let them do it though. We ain't gonna let them do it. Hit that like button up. Hit the like button up. Let them know what time it is. Right. He should have paid her immediately, but they were gonna do this anyway. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they was Johnson. When the drugs ran out, how did you know who to reach out to? Sean would tell me during the session, how would you know to move to the next step? Sean would tell me. What would happen after the escort finished on you? Sean would want to put it on his body in the next room. Now, I told you, I don't agree with Diddy's behavior. Jesus Christ. What would happen after the escort finished on you? Sean would want it put on his body in the next room. Did you do that? I did. Where? Usually on his nipples. Yeah, I want you to put, yeah, when he finished on you, I want you to rub it on my nipples. Yeah, take that, take that. Right there, get the nipple. Get the nipple. Just the nipple. Oh my God. Oh my God. Did you want to do that? No. Oh my gosh. This is horrific. That's what this is. Horrific. So now everyone sees what this is, right? All right. We can clearly see where this is and where it stands. So now that we clearly see what it is and where it stands, everybody can see what's foul, what's fair, what's in between, what's righteous, what is actually out of the ordinary. Okay. As long as you have things that are out of the ordinary, you're going to have people that's going to want to progressively tell you things that are indifferent to the situation. Getting down with the Diddy man. No, I never got down with no Diddy man. Sorry, buddy. I know you might want to have been there, but no, I don't party with Diddy like that. Diddy is the type that if he's going to do that kind of activity, he's going to do it amongst himself and people who are down with that kind of behavior. I couldn't see him doing that with Floyd because that wouldn't be part of Floyd's behavior. Woo! Feel like I was about to go over. But no, I didn't feel that was part of the behavior, and the whole patterns and what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, the whole coup de grace. Now, I never expected others to understand my plight when I make these kind of statements or these type of examples. And that's cool. You know, this is us reviewing what they have presented in front of us based on the charges that are against Diddy. And it's proven just from people in the chat why it was so hard to find jurors, because people can't look at the evidence and base it on the case. And everyone's here is trying to judge this man on his personal behavior. Now, I'm looking at this, and of course, his personal behavior is not something I consider to be ideal. And because I don't consider it to be ideal, um, most people would say it's inhumane or whatever. I beg to differ. Yes, she wanted to do it, but not that much. Hmm. So she's already admitted that she wanted to do it. When the defense grabs her, trust me, this is gonna get brutal. This is going all her lies is gonna be exposed. And all of the things that they're trying to suppress, like she's being coached right now. They say, how do you feel when all this was going on? I was an object being heavily objectified by men. Sometimes he would watch by FaceTime. Were some sessions recorded on your devices because they were there? If you saw them on your device, what would you do? I would delete them. Why? They were disgusting. I never wanted anyone to see them. Were Sean's devices used sometimes? Yes. I asked him to delete them. Did he? I don't know. Oh my God. This woman has been coached. Did you want to be urinated on? Objection. The judge said ground, asked, and answered. Overruled. The judge wanted to hear this. Did you want to be urinated on? Objection. Asked and answered. Judge is like, man, I'm just getting good. Overruled. Keep going. No, I did not want it. How did it feel? It was disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it. Why were you choking? Too much urine in my mouth. I can't make this up. She didn't like it because it was too much in her mouth. Who else urinated on you? Sean. Did you want Sean to urinate on you? I didn't want anyone to urinate on me. How often did it happen? Often enough. How frequently were you in Sean's residence? All the time. Did they all have safes? That's a random directional pull. Yes. Did you observe in them? Cash, jewelry, cameras, videotapes, guns in New York, Los Angeles, Miami, and Alpine, New Jersey. Do you recall an incident between Sean and Suge Knight? Yes. We were having a freak off in LA. D-Rock came in and said Suge was down at a diner. Sean drove over there. What was your reaction? I cried, said, don't do something stupid. So now Suge Knight is involved in this situation. Suge is brought up in the sex trial. Oh my God. They got Suge name brought up in the trial. I can't make this up. And I'm trying to think. When Suge was out, and I'm trying to figure out what is the purpose of this. I'm trying to think when Suge was out, was Cassie and Diddy, yeah, they were together. But I don't understand the point besides just name dropping somebody. They're not making themselves. Mm-hmm. Well, that's normally going to come with the territory when you do it in that direction. Some people are freaks, right? R. Kelly was a freak. Poor example, but yeah. She don't want to be a freak, but she can't help herself. Cassie don't want to be a freak, but she can't help herself. She ain't want to be a freak, but she couldn't help herself. Cassie want to be a freak, but she can't help herself. Cassie want to be a freak, but he can't help herself. She don't want to be a freak. Mm-hmm. Once the defense get her, it's gonna be over. I never thought her choking on urine would ever be mentioned in a trial, but it was. She don't want to be a freak. She just couldn't help herself. Phone is fully charged. I like that. Mm-hmm. She's a super freak. Super freak. She's super freaky. Oh. Cassie's a super freak. Oh, Young Miami. You know what's happening, Young Miami? She's getting peed on. You don't see Young Miami up here talking. The trial of Diddy. Did you ever pee on Cassie? What, today? No, Tuesdays and Thursdays. She know the routine. Tuesdays, I make sure, I ain't got nothing like real bad in my system. Get some good Aquavina. Get myself nice and ready. Everybody was peeing in her mouth. Kim Smith, she was a walking urinal. Sex workers, Diddy, they was all peeing in her mouth. They was like, I can't make it to the bathroom. Cassie, what? Open your mouth. Oh, there we go. Whew. Now she goes to the tape. Did you ever have a freak off? Did you ever leave a freak off before it was over? Yes. At the Century Club Intercontinental, I finally had a premiere coming up and I didn't want to mess it up. But Sean hit me. At what point did Sean hit you? Between sessions. He said, which hotel charged the most for the damage to the room? The Intercontinental in New York. They redecorated the whole room for ridiculous money. Back to the urination. Miss Johnson, only for a few more questions. Back to the urination. Why didn't you say no? Back to the urination. They were like, Miss Johnson, like, could we please move on from this? Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's get back to the urination. I didn't want to have him upset with me. Oh my God. Yeah, they asked the guy, the sex worker, while you and Miss Cassie Ventura was having sex for hours, Miss Ventura took the lead, right? No. He's like, you took the lead? We were equally doing our thing. There wasn't a leader. You decided together. Yes. So they decided together. So nobody's directing them. This idiot just admitted it. Fair to say she was in complete control of everything she was doing. I can't say that. You did not wear a condom, right? I did not. And they said, your boss told Mrs. Cassie paid for the hotel. Yes. This dude is an idiot. He just told on himself. Remember that. He just told that. Now remember, Diddy was supposed to be directing them. Right? So while Diddy is supposedly directing them, all of this takes place under his direction. So at this point, Diddy tries to kick Cassie's husband out of the trial. Here is the monster bomb drop as the reason why. They're trying to kick him out the courtroom because he came in the courtroom. And they said, we want him out the courtroom because Diddy's team will call him as a witness. Diddy's team is going to call Cassie's husband as a witness. They might call him up as a witness in this trial. Cassie's husband. They say it depends on the direct. They said, we would like Mrs. Ventura's husband not to be allowed in the courtroom during her testimony. We may need to call him as a witness later, depending on the direct. They was like, how would Diddy keep tabs on you, Cassie? We didn't live far apart. He sent security to come find me, or a trusted assistant. Like who? David James or KK, Christina Coram. What's your relationship? Exclusive? No. Did you see other men, Ventura? Yes. Did Sean see other women? Yes. He said, I am Puff Daddy. I was insanely jealous. Did you move to LA with him? Yes. He wanted to be close to his kids who were there. Mm-hmm. They were like, Cassie, were you ever handed a gun? Yes. We were doing going to the club downtown in LA. We've taken shrooms. I was high. I was told to put the gun in the bag. I was freaking out. Who was present? A driver, a security, and Sean. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they know what they're doing. They know. I just want the defense to get their hands on him, so that when the defense get their paws on her, boy, this thing finna go up 8 million. Just like they tore up that line sex worker who got caught in his own lies. Tried to say he was directed by Diddy, but everything he's saying is saying we did our own thing. So he's like, so she was in total control of what she was doing. No, I can't say that. Well, you just said you two did what y'all wanted to do. Y'all decided there was no leader. You guys made that. Yes. There was no leader. It was two people doing our thing for hours. No, I told you, young Mammy was getting peed on. She be doing golden showers. Golden showers go on in Hollywood. They the one who named that nasty stuff. They named they filthy stuff. Fame is a drug. It's a psychosis. People will do anything for it to remain in the light. Diddy wouldn't be doing a freak off right before a movie premiere. That would never happen. So for them to say something like that, the premiere is in 2 days, and you're gonna do a freak off that's gonna last for days in a hotel. It's like, stop lying. Now I could see after the premiere, he'd be like, I want to set something up. Drug mule took a plea deal, of course. Well, the judge came in and said, look, we got the jury waiting. We have a letter from a juror that we will make court exhibit 1 on the videos where they will be offered into evidence this afternoon. And the judge said, this is about evidence that we're coming into the case. The public has a right to know what is happening at trial. I don't see how we would navigate that concern. There's potential impact on the jurors of signaling some evidence requires sealing. And Johnson said, we just wouldn't show the videos to the courtroom gallery, and the jurors and everyone in the would wear headphones. These materials are sexually explicit and involves nudity. One has submitted a letter here saying this is about adult film work that is narrowly tailored. Our application is only that the visual images and the audio within it, we could ask questions tastefully. It's like, what should we do with this? The defense is like, well, let's see if there's any issue here, if it should be excluded or should we not exclude it. I don't know what to do here. He's like, and Diddy's lawyer, Tenny, gets up there. She's like, he suspected she was cheating on him. She did not answer the phone. She got into a bar fight. She tried to kill someone. So it is relevant. So once again, she's bringing that up. Tenny is like, look, we need to bring this up. And we bringing it up in the case. Oh, they ain't letting nobody sleep. So they're taking her through the video now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said, Miss Ventura, in what cities did you respond to ads on Craigslist? They said, here come the fake crying. You already know. I mean, Willie D probably know like me, this is some bullshit. 24/7. It was like, Miss Ventura, yeah, it was like, in what cities did you respond to the ads on Craigslist? In New York. Did you respond to the ads on Backpage as well? Yes. Who directed you to communicate with escorts? The defense was like, objection. Who, if anyone? Same objection. Assumption of facts is not in evidence. Do you ever reach out to an escort independently? No. Do you know his name? No. I call him the first escort. Were you aware he was paid? Yes. To dance and have intercourse with you? Yes, to dance and have intercourse with me. What drugs did you take? Ecstasy and alcohol before things started? Did you disguise your appearance? Sean said we would disguise ourselves. We wore masquerade masks. What was a session and a freak off until the escort finished? How many sessions with the first escort? At least two. 2 sessions. Mm, mm, mm. 2 sessions. They was like, who paid for your rent when you was in LA? Sean, except for when I had the house in Studio City. Why'd you pay then? I could afford it then, and I wanted to have some control. It was accepted. By whom? Sean. How many songs did you write while with Sean? Hundreds. Most of them never released. Some got leaked on the internet, some on mixtapes. How many albums on your deal were not released? 9. Did you get paid for them? No. There was, how old are you, Cassie? 38. What is your work? Musician and entertainer. How long were you with Sean? 10 years. Did you guys always get into arguments? Yes. Will it result in violence and dragging? Yes. What else did he do? Stomp me in the head if I was down. How frequently was he violent? Too frequently. I would get black eyes, bruises. Oh my God. This is crazy. This is a domestic situation, not a federal crime. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The sex worker was proven to be a liar, in my opinion. He was very inconsistent in his testimony. Once in cross examination, he exposed himself to be nothing more than just a tool. And as you could see, it all went downhill from him opening his mouth, making statements. Now, everyone has their own opinions when it comes to how often they want to do something and how frequent they want to go about doing it, right? But when you start seeing stuff like that, when a guy that wasn't consistent, you're going to start asking some very serious questions down the pipe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's because of Diddy. My buddy calling me now, probably for a freak off. Different kind of freak off. I don't want to go to nothing. I only want to go to the strip club. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, when things go left, that's usually how it goes. When they were looking at the video, they were like, "What are you doing?" "I'm trying to use the hotel phone." "What is Sean doing?" "Taking my phone and bag." And the judge said, "We'll break for the day. We'll just take a break for today. We'll finish this up tomorrow." Well, she was going down the road. Yeah, because that's how they started it with the hotel. He was like, "What point did Sean hit you?" "Between sessions." "What happened next?" "I got on an elevator. Next thing I knew, I was thrown on the ground." "Who threw you down?" "Sean. He grabbed the back of my neck of my hoodie." "Let me show you the video." "What is Sean doing now?" "I'm trying to use the hotel phone." They said, "We oppose that." You see the pool of reporters seeing the video. Oh yeah, it wrapped after they went through the video. The defense is getting ready. They're gonna take her apart tomorrow, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna be ready to go like a buzzsaw. I'm gonna be ready tomorrow for like a buzzsaw on this Cassie. Hmm. You wanted to go to war? See, there is no Cena versus that guy. Like, let that guy do whatever the hell it is he doing. That's whatever he's doing, he doing. He don't need me. I don't need him. Let him go do his thing. I'm totally nah. Mm-mm. Compromised. When you become compromised, I can't deal with you. I can't deal with it. If you're not going to address facts and you're going to skip over to follow an agenda, then nah, can't deal with that. I'll just let people go do their thing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The Patreon version, oh yes, the Patreon version is coming right up. It's finna come up right now in about 10 seconds. Yes, sir. 10 seconds. Because the stream continues. It's just gonna be on the Patreon version. Y'all gonna get that as soon as I hit this button and end here. Shouts out to Kwame Brown Bust Life, all the real ones out there who keeping it real and holding it down. Even those people trying to sabotage us, we still kicking it, still holding it down. So if you're not a member of my Patreon, go to my Carcino for Life Patreon, and we are out of here on YouTube.